Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Saturday, November 25th, 2023. And if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 Bank Shop best bet, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Saturday in college hoops. First up, we see Southern Miss in Milwaukee. This one 2:30 Eastern on ESPN+. We faded Southern Miss in their last game against South Dakota State. That was an 11-point win for the Jackrabbits, 65-54. And now Southern Miss is on a 3-game losing streak. I'm fading them again here on the road against Milwaukee. This is a solid offense for Milwaukee, and it goes back to what I mentioned against South Dakota State. Is I think Southern Miss's defense is fine. The offense just can't keep up, and right now it's one of the weaker offenses in their conference. 268th in adjusted offensive efficiency, 332nd in effective field goal percentage, and 350th in two-point field goal percentage. They're taking care of the ball, and they're getting to the free throw line, but their shooting numbers just not good enough, not a good enough offensive rebounding numbers. And I think Milwaukee, a team that can really up the tempo. They're 57th in average possession length offensively. They're a good scoring team, even though their shooting numbers aren't the best. They're a really good offensive rebounding team, and they take care of the ball. I think they score at will in this game, and I just think it's enough for a win and a cover. So give me Milwaukee here. I'm going to lay the points at home. Next up, we see St. Thomas, the Tommies, taking on Green Bay. This one 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. So far in Division I college basketball, it's only been a couple of seasons for St. Thomas there. This has been a solid offensive program, but the defense has really held this team back. In their first season as a Division I program, St. Thomas was 102 in adjusted offensive efficiency. Not too bad. They were number 1 in college basketball in turnover percentage offensively. They never turned the ball over. Pretty good three-point shooting team, but the defense was ranked 357th in adjusted defensive efficiency. Plainly not good enough to compete at a high level in Division I college hoops or at the Summit League level. So we saw them have a pretty bad losing record. Last year, similar things. Their defense improved a bit. The offense was still really strong. They didn't turn the ball over much. Good three-point shooting team, but that defense just wasn't good enough in conference play, and they ended up 18-13 overall, but 9-9 in conference action. But this season, I'm seeing St. Thomas improve defensively, even though the adjusted efficiency numbers don't show it right now. I think going forward, St. Thomas's defense is going to be probably its best so far at the Division I level, as they're forcing a lot more tough shots. The offense is still doing what it does. Good shooting team. They're 20th in the country in three-point shooting in college basketball right now. They played a pretty tough schedule. They played a couple of neutral site games, some true road games, one of them against California. That was a pretty close game, 71-66 against a Pac-12 team. So I think St. Thomas is the much better team in this ballgame. Even though it's a road game, I just don't trust Green Bay really on either side of the ball. Defensively, they don't force many turnovers, so they're relying on teams missing shots, and it's tough to rely on that when you're playing St. Thomas, a really good shooting team, like we said, takes care of the basketball. I think St. Thomas scores at will, and I think that defense has improved, so give me St. Thomas, the Tommies, at a reasonable number. Next up, we see Incarnate Word taking on UTSA. This one 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. It's going to be part of the Roadrunner Classic, so a true home game for UTSA. Incarnate Word's on a 3-game win streak. We took them plus the points against Jacksonville State in their last game. That was our best bet on Wednesday in college basketball. It was an exciting game. It didn't need to be an exciting game. Incarnate Word was up by about 14 points with like 5 minutes left in that ball game, and a lot of time management issues and turnovers hurt Incarnate Word. They blew that lead. They actually, I think, were trailing in that game, and then they won the game at the buzzer 67-66. And, I do think despite those issues at the second half, this is still a really improved Incarnate Word team, especially offensively. This was a team last year was a little bit too reliant on the three-point jumper. This season, more of a two-dimensional offense. They have a stronger front court. Sean Robinson, especially, one of the best players on this team this year. He's an Austin Peay transfer. He also played at San Jose State and Ole Miss. He's been super strong. He was the one that hit the buzzer beater in that win against Jacksonville State. He's been strong, and there's good offensive rebounding numbers for this team to start the year. They're getting to the free throw line a lot more, and they're still making their three-point jumpers when they need them. Defensively, it's not the best team in college basketball, that's for sure, but they're doing a better job of being more aggressive, forcing more turnovers, doing a better job on the defensive glass than last year. Last year this team was ranked 339th in defensive rebounding. So there's just big improvements for this program. I think they're really headed in the right direction. I also think we're getting value with them in a spot like this. UTSA is a fine team, but I wouldn't want to lay this many points with them. I really don't trust this defense for UTSA. Ranked 344th in adjusted defensive efficiency. They don't force turnovers. They're not strong on the defensive glass. Incarnate Word should be able to score plenty of points in this game. And I think that for that reason, I think there's value with them getting these points as the underdog. So give me Incarnate Word plus the points. I think you sprinkle on the money line as well to get some plus money on your side. Next up, we see Furman and UAB. This one's going to be a 6 p.m. Eastern start time. It's going to be on ESPN+. While UAB is off to a solid start to the year, 3-2 this season, are on a 3-game win streak, and they have the upset win against Maryland. I think we can agree this offense is nowhere near as potent as it was last year when Jelly Walker was a part of the roster. And while it's still a solid UAB team, is going to do some damage in the conference this year, I just think that Furman, the way that they play offensively, they score the basketball in a hurry. They're 22nd in average possession length, and they're 7th in two-point field goal percentage. So it shows you they can get some quick, easy buckets inside the paint. And 79th in adjusted offensive efficiency. They've played a pretty tough schedule thus far. Their last 3 games were either neutral site games or true road games. They've been competitive offensively. The defense is not really where you want it to be, but it's a good defensive rebounding team. It doesn't take too many fouls. I think going forward, we're going to see better numbers from Furman defensively. To me, this is going to be a really exciting game, a competitive game. I think there's value taking points with the underdog. You can take them on the money line to get some plus money, but I'm going to go with Furman plus the points in this one. And the final game we're going to talk about for Saturday's card in college basketball is going to be between South Alabama and Maryland. This one's 7 p.m. Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Now, we were fading Maryland early in the season when they played Mount St. Mary's and Davidson. They were, overvalued at the beginning of the year. We saw them not cover against Mount St. Mary's in a win and then lose outright to Davidson. I think a double-digit underdog or double-digit favorite in that game, 64-61. Then they lost to UAB. They lost to Villanova on the road, only putting up 40 points of offense in that game. It was looking pretty ugly, for a 3-game stretch for Maryland, but they finally got back home against UMBC. They won that game 92-68, their most recent game. And I think we see something similar in this matchup against South Alabama, another home game for Maryland. Maryland's defense is super strong. The offense has struggled, this season so far, but the defense is 19th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. They force turnovers and they force a lot of tough shots. South Alabama, pretty good shooting team, but I don't think they're going to have their way in this game. It's a South Alabama team. When we've seen them step it up in competition, they have really struggled. They lost 102-46 on the road against Alabama. That was their second true road game of the year. Their other true road game was against Buffalo, which is ranked 332nd in KenPom, so not really a step up. It was a really ugly game against Alabama. I know Bama's a completely different style of basketball than Maryland, but it just goes to show you this Jaguars offense, and I'm not sure we can trust it on the road quite yet. The defense, we certainly can't. Doesn't force a lot of turnovers. Gives up a lot of easy looks. 283rd in effective field goal percentage. This is another spot for Maryland, similar to that UMBC game where their offense can get going, score some easy baskets. They're a good offensive rebounding team. They should get to the free throw line plenty of times in this game, probably 20 to 30 times. We should see Maryland at the free throw line in this ball game, and that should be enough for a win and a blowout win and a cover in this game for Maryland. So give me the Maryland Terrapins. I'm going to lay the big number at home. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.